Very proud of our team today. Competed very well. A big SEC win at home. Got ahead in the game, stayed ahead in the game. Didn't have a lot of the self-inflicted wounds, allowed teams to come back and get ahead, and stayed very efficient on offense in that regard. I thought defensively we did a really good job as far as we created 3 huge turnovers in the game. They got some yards and some plays in which we got a couple more stops, and we gave up some. But at the same time, we created 3 big turnovers that we converted into touchdowns and plays and made, which were big momentum swings in the game. Special teams, we were very sound. Offensively, I thought our efficiency was really excellent. I thought on all the areas is that I always talk about. We had balance in the run game. Quarterback and backs were both running the football very well, and how we were doing it. Efficiency in the passing game, catch and run. Had some yak yards, plays down the field. The young players kept getting better. The offensive line did a really good job picking up blitzes. They brought a lot of different blitzes up front. They were bringing a lot of different combinations. You see our offensive lines getting better and better. They just keep growing in what they're doing. A lot of the young contributions. Isaiah Spiller has another 90-yard day and plays excellent. You see Wiedemeyer's ability to catch balls and his big ability to run afterwards. Our 3 receivers, I thought 2, 1, 13 had the big-time play. 17's doing a great job. 14's doing a good job. They were very efficient. But Kellen, I thought, really managed the game today. I thought his ability to pull, his decision-making and the runs, to pull it, to hand it, to do that, to check and get us from pass to run to pass, picking up protections and blitzes, adjusting the front, and then being so accurate with the football down the field, I thought, and then managing the clock at the end, how to milk it down, get drives, and picked up 2 big third downs with his legs and one a run pass option, and he just keeps growing as a football player. It's fun to watch, and I think defensively we're keeping some young guys are getting player time. The older guys, Matabuka and those guys are playing well, and special teams we're continuing to grow. So we just keep sawing wood, try to get better. Got better a little bit better this week, but still got a lot of things we got to work on and get better at, and go play U2SA next week, and then try to get better to have a good week of practice.
Right side, Gabe, and then to the left.
Situation where you ran for over 200, you didn't allow a sack. I mean, just a little bit more on what you're seeing up front.
Yeah, well, and the lack of negative plays, getting communication. And that goes in, and some of those, like I say, the side adjustments and the breaks of the receivers breaking routes off, seeing the coverages, which helps the protection. The line can do it. It's all, like I say, sometimes you blame a line for sacks, and it's not. A receiver may not see the adjustment or the quarterback, and things like that. But that line up front did a really good job in their communication, their pass blocking, putting hats on hats, and getting movement in the run game.
To the left, Olin, and then to the right, Christie.
Jimbo, a couple things. First of all, do you consider that a complete game? And then secondly,
No.
Was there anything that you've been seeing that you could have anticipated that y'all were going to have this kind of offensive show?
Well, I've seen us do it in spurts, but to do it with that consistency, to answer your question, no. I mean, but I've seen a lot of little things that I see we're getting better at, that a lot of folks you can't see because you're not in practice every day. You're not in the little and get to watch the film and rewind it back 38 times like we do and see. There's been a lot of things we're growing at that I always say that, and people say, well, I ain't seeing the results. But as a coach, they're getting better, and it is eventually starting to come together. The one thing I was disappointed in, I'm very disappointed. We're going to address this. I was not happy with the personal fouls at the end of the game or in the middle when we had that drive down there too. You got to play smarter. I don't care. The guy hits your quarterback. I love it. I love having friends like that, but right there we're trying to win a game. We don't need to do that, and we got to get that cleaned up. We had a couple personal fouls there that I don't tolerate. And we won't have, and I don't like the way that came about. But other than that, there's a lot of things we're getting better at, and the little things. Hopefully we can continue and just keep sawing wood, keep chopping, and hopefully have a pretty good football team when it's all over with.
Second row on the right, Christie.
You touched on this in your opening, but how big was it for y'all to not only get the turnovers but get touchdowns out of every single turnover?
They do, and there's no momentum swings. And that's what I talk about, playing to each other. You know what I mean? When one side creates a play, the other side feeds off of it and goes capitalize, and you build momentum in the game, and you take the air out of people. Man, it's hard, because, that momentum can swing back. We call sudden change. Okay, they get a turnover, and if they stop you, all of a sudden the momentum goes back to them. Hey, we withstood that, so now we got momentum. Let's go back this way. Games are like, how funny when you're kids like that, and things like that happen. And that's why I think the only thing in defense, there's a couple times in which after we scored, we need to we gave up a couple drives there that we got to get stopped, and then we can really play completely.
The right, Suzanne.
Jimbo.
Oh, yes.
Number 85. How much does having him on the field open your playbook?
Oh, it does tremendously, because his size, his range, the runs you can call, and the passes, because this guy can get vertical and catch the ball down the field. He's athletic. He's learning to become a better blocker. He was in high school, he was more of a receiver than he was a blocker. But he's really learning to become a better blocker and play in there. He does. He's big. He's strong. And when you have that body type, man, it makes a big difference.
Down front.
Can't wait to get Baylor back, too. That'd be good.
You mentioned the personal fouls when in the first half when Mon made that long run down, took the big hit. You had the personal foul backed you up. We've talked about in the past about kind of overcoming adversity and those little things. How important in momentum shifting was coming back on that next play to get the touchdown?
It probably saved one of them's life because I would have been so mad. No, it was huge, but it just shows you that we say go play the next play, and I chewed the guy's butt out, and we got that fixed. But at the same time, learning to, all right, put that behind you, go to the next play and hit that. That's huge. It is. And that's part of growing as a team and not letting that one play affect the next 2 or 3 plays.
Third row to the right, and then Justin.
Hey, Coach, 8 of 11 on third down. How big was moving the sticks and maintaining that momentum on
Really
offense?
good. And the other thing is, when you don't have penalties and you don't have negative plays and sacks, you're in makeable third down situations. And that's what we were in. We had makeable third down situations, and a lot of our third down success became because we were successful on first down. Even if it was a 2 or 3 yard gain, then you hit another 3 or 4 yard gain. Then you're 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. It's a lot more manageable. So everybody talks about third down, but when your first down efficiencies are really well, it usually makes your third down efficiencies go up too. But that was huge. That third down is something we worked on this week and wanted to make sure we was in the right situations.
To the left, Justin, then to the right, Rich.
Coach, what about the explosive plays? You kind of alluded to it, but just how big was that? Wiedemeyer, yards after catch, Kendrick, yards after catch, Jamon Osmond, corner route, touchdown. Just kind of got some explosive plays today.
Let me tell you something. If you don't get explosive plays, it's hard to score points. You can move the ball, but you don't score points. I say this all the time. Turnovers and explosive plays are as big a factor in winning and losing games now as it's ever been because of the way the game's played, the openness to which the game is played. When you can create those big plays which create points, and you don't have to have those 12-play drives that you execute perfectly. I'm better. I like those 2-play drives that make a guy miss and run over somebody and then go score. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have them. And we had them today, and that's why you saw the point total go up.
Right side, Rich, and then Alex.
Coach, can you address the balance developing in the passing game, and is that dealing with Mond, or is that the calls that you're making?
Well, I think we're trying to do that, and we're trying to distribute the ball, but we give him a lot of freedom. He has the ability to distribute the ball based on the coverage or the leverage or how we go into a game plan. It's not we call him we may call it to him, and the coverage not be right. We're working over here. I mean, he has the ability to do that, and he's really understanding how his leverages, his matchups, and he keeps growing as a quarterback, and that's the way we call the game.
Alex, and then Cedric.
Coach, just expanding on the O-line and no sacks today on
Huge.
Kellen and over 200 yards rushing.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, like I say, not many negative plays, and the short yardages were really good. We were good in short yardage and red zone, being able to run the ball inside the 5-yard line, which was big, and our offensive line just keeps getting better and better each week.
Right side, Cedric.
Yeah, Coach, before the TD from Kellen to, I'm writing it down, Kendrick Rogers, they had that, you had 3 guys converge on one play, O'Neal, Richardson, and Renfro, a strip, a caused fumble,
Yes.
and a recovery. Emotionally, what does that do for your offense?
It's
back on the
huge
field?
because you learn, hey, they give us that opportunity, and you get right back on there. And that's what I say. You learn to feed off each other. That's what sports is about. It's just like, and you grow from it, and we're learning to capitalize on that. But those turnovers on defense today were huge, man. Those turnovers on defense today were huge, and they create opportunities. And like you said, we capitalized. That's what I told you. Playing, people say, the offense and everybody break. No, everybody's got to play together, and you feed off each other. And that's what good teams do, and that was very big with that defense.
Down front, right.
You talked a little bit about Jalen, the way he's grown over this season, but just in terms of what he means for your offense and what he means for what you're trying to do with his offense as a program, how important is that position as a whole?
Oh, it's huge because it allows you the body when you have a skill guy that can get vertical and score touchdowns, but can also sit there and block a 290-pound end and pass pro or run block and do things. It puts people and then how they got to play them on defense. Am I going to put big guys in when we want to run the football, or they got to put skill guys in when we want to throw it? And you can pick, and when they put little guys, you can run it. When they put big guys in, you can take advantage of it. Look in the NFL. We talk about receiver, all that, and them receivers you got to have dynamic. But the biggest mismatch guys, the great teams in the NFL, all have dynamic tight ends. I mean, the Patriots and all those, and Kelsey and all those guys, the guys in Philadelphia. I mean, all those guys that have the guys that can block, run, and that body type, man, that makes it fun and creates matchup problems.
Front left, Zach, then to the right.
Jimbo, I know at times this year it's been hard for your defensive line to get to the quarterback at different times. But today, just overall, your thoughts of your guys getting in the backfield?
I thought they got more pressure. I thought they affected throws, not only with sacks, but hands, batted balls, containing, not letting the guy out on scramble. Now, quarterback runs are different, but in the pass game, and sometimes, their guy, you had to be very careful. If you rushed him too hard and got wide, he was so athletic he'd get up in there. So I thought we did a much better job in our contain lanes, and I say collapsing the walls back inside, and they did a better job pressuring him.
Right side, Gabe, and then Down front, Travis.
A quick two-parter. You mentioned Baylor Cup. Is there a timetable on him and his return?
No, he'll be next year.
Okay,
I was just
okay.
saying those guys like that, those big bodies like that, man. It's
Okay,
fun. I
gotcha.
didn't.
Sure. Just confirming. And then Devin Morris. How about the local guy? Just in terms of
I'm
development.
gonna tell you what. Now I said this. I thought that's one of the best picks. I'm gonna say it again on film, but when I caught it, I kind of half glimpsed. I was having to call the play, the next play, but that was a heck of a play. I mean, and great to see him to go out there and hadn't had a lot of opportunities, but gets his opportunity, kept working in practice. Just like Chad has. All those guys, the guys in the secondary, they've kept working, and now they're making plays. And that was a huge play by Devin, and told him so in the locker room after. That was a big momentum swing.
Time for a couple more, Travis.
Piggybacking off of that, you have that third down dime package where you bring in some of those young guys like Morris and Andre White and Hansford. How impressive have those guys been over the last 2 weeks? I know Morris had a sack and a tackle for loss last week too.
He did, and keep growing your depth and guys that can play and get in there and do the things they have to do. And you got to use all your bodies because listen, this time of year, man, guys get banged, bruised, and it gives some. And those guys come on, you can take those other guys out and give them a little rest so they can do their role a little bit better. So it's huge building the depth in that.
To the left, Justin, you'll wrap us up.
Warren Kendrick had the touchdown last week and found the end zone again today. Coach, what is it just kind of being healthy and getting better? What are you seeing from Kendrick?
Mars, Pluto, Saturn, and Venus are all lined up. No, it is. We're getting him in the mix. He's getting healthy, getting to practice, and you get the practice time. You know what I mean? That's the other thing. Some of these guys are playing a lot, and you don't get practice time, and it's hard. It's hard to, as a coach, to game plan around a guy. Okay, he's going to be in the game, but what can he really do? I mean, how well does he run that route? If you get a specialty route, how many times has he ran it? The timing with the quarterback, all those things that matter. Getting him on the practice field. He and Q are getting him on the practice field more and more because Q was banged up at times, off and on at times, and it makes a big difference. And his big body, man, he can do some things.